Christine to the lectern where she will deliver her speech 235. Dun, 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 dun.
235. 235 pounds. Not that long ago, I stepped on the scale, and that was the number I saw. A number I had never seen before. My fellow Toastmasters, Mr. Toastmaster, and our new members. For some people, this would have been a revelation. But honestly, for me, it wasn't. I already knew I was overweight. And I knew it because I would see myself in pictures. I'd catch my own reflection in a mirror and say, who is that fat girl? That's not me. But in my heart, I knew that it was. And that moment that I stepped on the scale, it wasn't a revelation, it was a turning point. Because I was already on a journey at that moment to be in better health. I had quit smoking. I was going to Zumba classes 2 or 3 days a week. But I wasn't really seeing any change, nothing that I could measure. So I decided to do something different. About a 3-month Groupon for CrossFit. Yeah, it's pretty different. And at that point, all I knew was that CrossFit was really intense. But I figured I'd give it a try. And so in my first 6 classes in what we would call an onboarding or an introductory class, 6 introductory classes, I learned that CrossFit was a combination of a couple of different things. It was your good old school calisthenics, things like push-ups and air squats and pull-ups and the dreaded burpee. It also included kettlebell work, which I had done before and really enjoyed. And then it included something that I had never done before, Olympic style lifting. These are your deadlifts, your cleans, your squats. And I was right, it was pretty intense. So much so that in that first month that I had done my regular classes and I had joined the group, that first workout, I was so exhausted that at 5:30 in the afternoon, I went to sleep. It's true. And in that first month, I went 2 or 3 times a week, and it was challenging. And it was challenging to my ego in a way that I didn't anticipate. You see, every class that I went to, I finished last, dead last out of the whole book. I didn't expect that, and I didn't expect the way it made me feel. But in that first month, I realized that every time I was last, I was surrounded by a group of people who were cheering me on to go faster, to push myself harder. And that was something I didn't expect, because I didn't expect the community that came with CrossFit. And in that first month, I realized my perspective had changed. I realized that every time I finished dead last, it was better than a day that I didn't finish. And that was even better than the days I didn't show up. So I started going more. And at the end of 3 months, I was going 4 or 5 days a week, and I realized CrossFit was for me. That community, that intensity, that challenge was incredible. And I learned in that time as well, as time has gone on, that my perspective's changed in many different ways. I've been doing CrossFit now for about 1.5 years, and I now consider myself an athlete. I'm the person who did 2 years of middle school softball and about 2 years of rugby in college, and that's been my athletic career. No high school sports, nothing else. I now consider myself an athlete, and I'm surrounded every day by a group of people who see me in the same light. That's incredible. I find that I no longer crave to be skinny, I want to be strong. Fitness, functional fitness, is now my goal. Because when I started this journey, I found myself in a place that many of us find. I was in my early 30s, I was unhappy with the way I looked, but more importantly, looming on the horizon of my health journey was diabetes and health disease, both of which lived in my family, and I knew that I was at a point where I could avoid all that if I started to change. Now, a year and a half later, I can measure that change. I don't measure it on the scale anymore. I measure it by how much I lift, by how fast I can go, or how far I row. And that's a measurement that I see day after day, month after month. And it's really exciting. The weight 235, I don't see that weight anymore. I now see 250 because that's what I deadlift. Today I didn't see 175, I saw 205, a personal record for my back squat. 205 pounds. I tell you what, any ladies, anybody who tells you that lifting isn't fun and isn't for women is wrong. Because there's nothing like picking up that weight and feeling fierce. And so I go back day after day. 5 days a week now I go to CrossFit. And my husband and I joke that it's a bit of a cult, and I'm okay with that. I've drunk the Kool-Aid. I'm one of those CrossFit people, and I love it. I love it in a way that I could have never expected. And so my fellow Toastmasters, I want to encourage you, and I'll take a page from Peter Facer, who's not with us tonight, and say that fitness and health isn't a moment. It isn't something that just happens, but it's a journey. And that was another revelation that CrossFit brought to me, was these people I saw on television, the skinny, strong people, they had to work just as hard as I did. And so I encourage you that if you have goals, if you're on this journey, take the journey, enjoy the trip, and work towards that goal, knowing that it doesn't happen overnight, but it happens one step at a time, day after day. Every day that you finish is better than a day that you didn't start or a day that you didn't finish at all. Mr. Toastmaster.